good news to report on nearly all fronts.
Perch patterns have been working really well.
This week's BuzzBite report,
just keep snapping it off the bottom.
Auto chart live.
You've got fish doing a number of different things.
See a lot of them?
Oh, yeah!
They are heavy.
Look at this giant.
How's that?
Welcome to AnglingBuzz TV, where each week we bring you seasonal fishing strategies, hot angling tactics, and fast-breaking fishing reports from all around the upper Midwest. I'm Dave Sanda.
And I'm Troy Lindner.
Also joining us every week are regional fishing experts who will be sharing their angling insights and expertise.
And this weekend, this is the big opener in Minnesota. This is what people wait all year for. Other parts of the upper Midwest already open, like the Dakotas, the Boundary Waters. They've been fishing there, catching a lot of good fish. But in Minnesota, this is sacred, this is traditional, this is on the calendar every year. And you were mentioning some people will be right at midnight out there fishing.
Oh, absolutely. There'll be people out at midnight. We take it really seriously. In a lot of other states that don't have actual fishing openers, like down south, people sort of gravitate into fishing as the weather gets warmer or they hear about fishing reports. But here, when the clock hits midnight on that particular day, the people are out. There's 1 million people on the water.
That is so awesome. And I think anybody, if you're out there at midnight, I got a lot of respect for you. That's hardcore angling.
Yeah, with the Minnesota opener being this weekend, obviously all eyes are going to be on walleyes here, but also in a lot of other places. And here are some great tips for locating and catching early season walleyes all throughout the upper Midwest. Expect to find large numbers of fish in relatively shallow water still hanging around their rocky spawning grounds near inflowing creeks and river mouths, shallow reefs, and along hard-bottom main lake shorelines, particularly males.
There, go, look at that. You got him. Look at that. Yeah, I got him.
You got him? Yeah, how do you like that, Al? I get him on figure eights a lot. There he is.
Got him?
Yep.
Got him? Right.
The larger females, meanwhile, likely have moved a bit, although not too far. In most cases, they simply shift to the nearest available good habitat with forage, where they can begin scarfing up a meal and recuperating from the rigors of the spawn. Like perch in weed beds, or shad and shiners along sand and rock flats and shorelines. Where you find food and cover, you'll find spring walleyes.
Oh, unbelievable.
And in most cases, jigging is a surefire system for catching them. More on this later in the show.
This is good stuff. Good stuff.
You know, Troy, there's one thing I've seen over the years is that most walleye fishermen who are used to live bait rigging in deep water, they fish way too deep this time of year. There's a lot of walleyes up in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet of water. That's where the warmest water is. That's where the bait fish are getting up, ready to spawn up in the shallow water. There's no reason for them to leave, and walleye fishermen need to get up there and fish for them as well.
Yeah, a lot of the fishermen you see will be fishing like 10 feet and deeper. That's kind of the traditional water, the depth you would fish for walleyes, but that shallow, you wouldn't think of like 4 feet, but 4, 5, 6 feet of water, you can catch some of those bigger walleyes this time of year.
You know, and the same thing goes for pike as well. If you get up in 4, 5, 6 feet of water where you've got some developing weed growth, go out there and slow roll a spinnerbait back to the boat. That's where those pike are. There's no reason for them to go deep. And in fact, if you're going to go pan fishing, this is something people don't really realize, but it's the prime time of year to go out and catch a bunch of big panfish in shallow water. Up in, again, 2, 4, 5 feet of water, something like that. So there's lots and lots of fish to be caught right up into the shallows.
First in the news, a new South Dakota state record smallmouth was caught the other week by Lyle Held. It weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Now get this, it was 19 inches long, and also it was 19 inches around. That's a true monster. And knowing and understanding the rules and regulations for your state is a very important part of fishing. Take this for example. The 2016 paddlefish snagging season opened in North Dakota on May 1st and is scheduled to continue through the end of May. Snag and release of all paddlefish is required on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. That means mandatory harvest on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. All paddlefish must be snagged, tagged, and removed from the river by 9 p.m. However, depending on the overall harvest, an early season closure may occur with a 24-hour notice given from the State Game and Fish Department. During spring gill netting operations, the Iowa DNR on Big Spirit Lake caught a 52-inch, 47-pound muskie. Now this happens to be the exact same lake that the current Iowa state record was caught also. Big Spirit Lake, that fish weighed 50 pounds, 6 ounces. With the Minnesota opener happening this weekend, the DNR wants to remind boaters to follow Minnesota's laws to help prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species. In Minnesota, you may not transport watercraft without removing the drain plug. Arrive at a lake access with the drain plug in place. Transport aquatic plants, zebra mussels, or other prohibited species on any roadway. Launch a watercraft with prohibited species attached. Transport water from any Minnesota lake or river. Release bait into the water. And remember, clean, drain, and dispose when you leave the water. And coming up next, it's our Highlight Destination feature. We're going up to Lake Vermilion as Angling Buzz continues. Lake Winnipegashish, Big Winnie. Let's go back in time to a real up-north vacation spot, a place where memories are made. Big Winnie is situated in the Chippewa National Forest and gateway to some of Minnesota's finest trophy walleye, pike, perch, untapped bass, and muskie fishing. It's the perfect place for family and friends when you really want to get away. Go to lakewinnie.net to find our little piece of heaven.
High-tech construction, building with old-world craftsmanship. Pride and passion, the same qualities that define high-tech construction go into every project we build. With meticulous attention to detail, our experienced tradesmen bring your floor plan to life. Our unwavering customer service results in a truly satisfying building experience. High-tech construction, where technology meets old-world craftsmanship.
Running in rough water can be a pain, literally. Hey, I never knew how comfortable a ride could be until I added Smooth Moves to my boat. Its four-spring design with hydraulic shock can smooth even the roughest of rides. With the built-in slide and swivel, you maintain all the function of your existing seat. A turn of the handle adjusts for conditions and passenger weight. Hey, it's easy to install and built to last. Smooth Moves, your back will thank you. I know mine does.
This week's highlight destination is sprawling Lake Vermilion, located in the scenic Arrowhead region of northeastern Minnesota. It's a huge lake filled with multi-species fishing opportunities for abundant walleyes, feisty smallmouth bass, trophy muskies, ferocious pike, slab crappies, and more. And as local angling expert Billy Rosner tells us, it's the place to go all season long for exceptional angling in a wilderness setting.
There's 365 islands, 40,000 acres, 1,200 miles of shoreline. You know, it's a big, big lake, and I like to say it's like a mini lake of the woods almost, is what it kind of reminds me of. It's just a great multi-species lake to fish. I mean, the walleye population is healthy. Along with the walleyes too, it's a really good crappie lake. We get some nice crappies in here, good small and largemouth fishing, good pike fishing. And then the muskies. You know, if there's a lake you want to be casting for muskies, it's Vermilion, because every time you're throwing out here, you got a chance at a 50 incher. So one of the top muskie lakes in the country right now.
For a lake that has a real up-north feel, Vermilion certainly has lots of places to stay. From full-service resorts to basic fishing camps, campgrounds, houseboats, and even luxurious rental homes, there are many accommodations to choose from, ranging from one end of the lake to the other. In addition to fantastic fishing opportunities, loads of family-friendly activities will appeal to folks of all ages, not the least of which is an expansive wilderness setting to explore throughout the Lake Vermilion area. For more information on fishing and vacation options at this exciting destination, check out lakevermilionresorts.com. You know, Vermilion has long been known as an outstanding smallmouth bass fishery, and obviously it's loaded with walleyes and crappies as well.
Yeah, a lot of lakes in the upper Midwest, you see these populations coexist. You see where you have big walleyes, you have big smallmouths, And also in Vermilion, you have giant muskies. I've
yeah.
fished smallmouth there. I've never fished for muskies there. Later on in the season, this summer, I'm going to go there for those giant muskies. Right now, I'd be up there for the walleyes and smallmouth.
You know, there's a lot of lakes like Vermilion in the upper Midwest that have a blend of species, and if you hit the timing right, you're definitely going to catch something, and it's probably going to be big. Speaking of timing, coming up next, we're going to be joining our BuzzBite reporters in the field to see what they've been catching on their local waters. Our viewers said they wanted more information on some of those big pike we talked about last week, so we're going to head out and talk to Kerry Conold at Mobridge, South Dakota on Lake Oahe.
Can I give you a quick tip on how I fish northern pike from shore under bobbers? Maybe it'll help you catch more and bigger fish. I like to use cut bait. I use lake herring, cut them in strips 3 to 5 inches. The Northland pike rig works very well for this. Spreads them out, hook one on each end, suspend it below a bobber. If the water is 10 feet deep, fish about halfway down the water column, set your bobber at 5 feet. The northern will swim, they'll move up to feed, so you don't have to worry. If there's a little wind action going, that bobber helps, bounces this bait, and spinner around a little bit, little activity, little attractant extra. And if that don't work, I'll grab a minnow and I'll stick a minnow right on my dry hand minnow bucket here. I'll put a minnow right on a treble hook besides that, so it flutters and flops around and wiggles those spinners. So good luck northern pike fishing.
And up next is Jason Mitchell from the Devil's Lake region in North Dakota.
Checking in from Devil's Lake, we've had so much wind and rain this spring, and we've had an early ice out, and ever since then these water temperatures have just been low. Most of the fish, they seem to have spawned out, and so now we're entering that post-spawn period, and I've seen a lot of fish getting caught from shore in the bottleneck areas. Fish are running up the creeks and in the tributaries that flow into Devil's Lake. People are still catching fish from shore, just pitching jigs and paddle tails or jigs and twister tails. I've been using the 3-inch Kalin's drub and been catching fish on that. There's also anglers starting to pitch crankbaits, especially in the afternoon, and been catching fish that way. Most of the fish have been shallow, anywhere from 3 to 7 feet of water. By and large, probably one of the most effective presentations that's happening right now, just a slip bobber and a leech. We're setting those anywhere from 3 to maybe 7 feet of water at the most. And as this water warms up, the fishing should just keep getting better and better. Anywhere you can just find pockets of shallow water where you just look at a bay, and then you look at a bay within a bay, and just look for those shallow areas that are protected from the wind. And so definitely use your temperature gauge right now to find fish.
Right after this, more BuzzBite reports as AnglingBuzz continues.
Because boaters know and follow Minnesota's aquatic invasive species laws, 98% of lakes are not known to have any zebra mussels. 95% are not known to have any kind of invasive animals or plants. Let's keep it this way. Clean aquatic plants and animals from boats, trailers, and equipment. Drain all water from watercraft, including the motor, and keep drain plugs out during transport. Dispose of unused bait properly. Together, we're preventing the spread of aquatic invasive species in Minnesota.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Up next, we're going over to the Alexandria area of Minnesota with Mike Frisch.
Hey, here in western Minnesota, the crappies are up shallow and they're aggressive, they're biting good, but what I want to talk to you about today is a walleye opener. The walleye season is just days away, and here in western Minnesota, a great place to target, I believe, will be the Alexandria area lakes for 2 reasons. Number one, the lakes in the Alexandria have gone through an intensive local stocking program, so there's a lot of fish in these lakes. The second reason is we've had a warm spring and the fish should be aggressive and ready to bite. On the opener, I keep it simple. I target the edge of a main lake flat where it drops into the basin. I look for little points or turns or maybe some weeds. Weeds can be a real key holding spot this time of the year. And I keep my presentation simple. I like the fireball jig. The short shanked wide hook gap on the fireball makes it great for a compact presentation. tipped with a spot tail shiner or a fathead, hard to beat that. I'll fish it two ways. I'll drift or slowly troll along that edge and fish it, just pulling it and letting it drop back. Or another great method is to pitch the jig to it.
Next up, let's talk to James Lindner, who's preparing for the walleye opener over at Lake Mille Lacs in Minnesota.
It's walleye opener this weekend in Minnesota, and normally I go to Mille Lacs Lake, and you hear a lot of people, saying there's no fish. Mille Lacs is dead. Nothing could be further from the truth. Actually, Mille Lacs is still a fabulous, fabulous, unique fishery. I've been fishing it for the last couple of years a lot for smallmouth bass. Right now, it's at probably one of North America's absolute finest smallmouth bass fisheries, anywhere from 3, 4, and 5 pound fish. It has an amazing number of fish in it. Even the walleyes last year, I caught quite a few really nice sized walleyes, anywhere between 25 and 27 inches in length, as well as some number of smaller ones. My usual selection from Mille Lacs set up here. Shad wrap for trolling, anywhere between 7 and 15 foot of water. Shadow wrap, and what I could do is that with the shadow wrap deep, actually let it sink down into, as deep as 12, 14 foot of water and fish a really slow, erratic jerkbait retrieve. A boot-tailed soft plastic, that's for pop jigging. I catch both smallmouths and walleyes in it. And then for smallmouth bass, the bright colored X-Wrap. Mille Lacs is definitely not dead. It's a very, very good lake for a lot of different fish species, as I will show you this weekend.
And besides the walleyes coming up, the water has been warming, which has been excellent for pan fishing.
Absolutely. Let's check in with Jason Freed up in north central Minnesota.
With the warmer temperatures that we're starting to have and the higher sun, the water temps are on the rise. Your mid-50s to upper 50s means some of the best spring crappie fishing is about to be had. Look for those dark bottom bays found on Leech Lake, Lake Winnebagosh, and many of the 1,000 other lakes that are within that area. When I'm out there fishing, it's a pretty basic setup. I've got my crappie rod under a slip bobber, along with a 32nd ounce hair jig. If I'm not using a hair jig, I got a puddle jumper or a tube under a 32nd ounce jig itself. 3 pieces of advice. Number 1, use your eyes. A good pair of polarized sunglasses can help spot those fish in ultra shallow water. We're talking 2 to 5 feet of water. Number 2, use your side imaging. I like to use my Lowrance side imaging. I can spot those fish, those schools of crappies, mark them, and make casts towards the waypoint. Number 3, using your bow mount. If you have a spot lock feature, such as on the Motor Guide XI5, as I move around, I find those fish, I spot lock, and I make long casts towards them. Some of the best fishing is about to head. It's almost walleye opener. Leech Lake, Lake Winnebagosh are known for a shallow water jig bite, and it's going to be on fire this year. We hope to see you out there.
Our next reporter is from Lake Vermilion in northern Minnesota. Here's Billy Rosner.
Getting ready for the opener. It's coming fast now, a few days away. Fortunate to be able to trap minnows in my backyard here, so hopefully I'll have some rainbows in here in a day or so. Should be a pretty typical opener. I'm expecting a good bite on the walleyes. Fish should be shallow. There should be some deeper too in that 25 to 35 foot stuff, which is typical for Vermilion. A minnow, a VMC jig, and even plastic should work. The crappies are spawning. They're starting to slide up into that shallow stuff in some of your muddier bays where that water warms up. And that's been the key. You want to get in there in the afternoons, 2 to 5 o'clock when that water warms up. And also, if you're going to be doing any northern pike fishing, I would recommend doing it in the afternoon. Casting or trolling. If you're trolling, try some number 9, number 11 floating Rapalas, the originals. Those do really well. And again, that'll be water temperature. Do that in the afternoons.
Hey, the walleye opener occurred last weekend in Wisconsin. By all accounts, it sounds like it was a really good one. Right now, let's check in with Dale Stroshine over at Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin.
Anybody that's coming up walleye fishing, trolling and jigging is going to be your best tactics. If you're going to do any type of jigging, any type of plastics, hair, rattle baits, whatever, that's going to be the best. Keep moving as well. Don't stay in one spot too long. Trolling, flicker minnows, flicker shads. Either one of these tactics, if you can see bottom, you're too shallow, move out. But remember, when you're up here chasing walleyes, keep moving. Smallmouth, find the warmest water you can. You're going to have to go back in the bays. If those fish aren't in there, they've not transitioned up yet because the water's too cool. So then go out to the deep water adjacent to any one of these bays. Long cast, keep it slow. Plastics, grubs, hair jigs, jerk baits, these are going to be the best tactics to catch these bass up here in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. I'm Dale Stroshine with the AnglingBuzz. Hope you guys have a great weekend, tight lines, and be safe.
And for our final BuzzBite reporter, we're going over to Michigan with Ben Wolf.
Spring has arrived and we've got some wonderful angling opportunities across the state. For the bass anglers, Lake St. Clair is on fire right now. It's the second week of May and we've got some really big fish moving around on the flats. Areas like the mile roads are traditionally great spots to start. Catch and release only on the Michigan side. The Canadian side is still closed. Further north, we have Grand Haven. The coho bite offshore, 8 to 12 miles, has been absolutely dynamite from all the reports that we're hearing. They're not big fish, but they're anywhere from the 2 to 3 pound range, and they're absolutely biting really well when you can find those calm days that allow you to get offshore. For more information, or if you're looking for a captain or guide in the state of Michigan, please give Sportfish Michigan a call or check us out on the web, sportfishmichigan.com.
As the seasons are just starting to progress throughout the upper Midwest, there's a lot of great fishing opportunities, and the fishing is about to go wide open.
Absolutely. When we come back, cool products and our technique of the week.
Sportfish Michigan is your #1 source for top charter captains and fishing guides in Michigan. Our network of professionals are full-time anglers with years of experience providing customers with the best possible fishing trip services. Fish for trout, salmon, steelhead on Lake Michigan or its famous tributary rivers, the Traverse City area's world-class smallmouth bass, walleye fishing on the Detroit River and Saginaw Bay, or northern Michigan's spectacular ice fishing. We do it all. Sportfish Michigan. Get out. Get bit.
My dad was never too busy to take me fishing. It was our special time together. He taught me which lures to use, how to cast, how to land big fish. Some days were better than others. Now that I'm older, I treasure those memories of our time on the water, and am glad that I can make new memories for my kids. Mills Fleet Farm, helping to create outdoor memories since 1955.
Lake Vermilion. Explore. Relax. Reconnect.
Minnesota's most beautiful lake.
Get hooked on our trophy walleye,
That's a beauty.
bass,
My favorite fish.
musky fish.
That's a beauty there.
Things to do? You'll never get bored.
Rooms with a view? We got 'em.
Lake Vermilion. 4 seasons of fun.
And welcome to this week's Cool Product segment brought to you by Mills Fleet Farm. I'm going to start out right here with this Rapala Fisherman's Multi-Tool. Now I use this a lot both in the boat and when I'm shore fishing. It has a little carabiner clip that goes right on your belt like that so it stays with you. And a nice retractable scissor right here for cutting your different size lines. And a little eye punch for different jigs, as well as a line threader right here all around. This is a nice little, sweet little compact tool. Now, we're on the subject of early season walleyes. This is the St. Croix Icon series. And this series of rods is specific for walleye fishing. There's some for vertical jigging, some for live bait rigging, and some for snap, well, right here, this is for snap jigging, as well as trolling. They made this, it's called Icon for walleyes. And it's an excellent value. You get it's kind of where performance and price meet in these. You can look through the different series and pick out the different type of rod to match the presentations you use most. And speaking of presentations, how can we not talk about grubs? Anytime I'm fishing, I always have a bag of grubs in my boat, always. Some of these smaller ones are perfect for crappie fishing, panfish, trout fishing. Those are like little 2-inch grubs, and you go up to a little bit bigger grubs, these 3, 4, and 5-inch grubs for bass and walleye. And Kalin's is an excellent choice. Again, right here we got some of these brighter little 2-inch ones for smaller panfish. And then right here, you throw the 3 and 4-inch for something like mushroom head jigging, for walleye jigs like this, swim jigging for smallmouth bass, and you can also throw them on like roller heads or traditional jigs for bass fishing. These are awesome. Next, the Shad Wrap series from Rapala in exclusive colors, only available at Mills Fleet Farm. Right here, check these out. These names are pretty cool. Sky Tiger, electric shades, rusty monkey, chrome perch, yellow belly, hot flash, and my favorite out of all these, rusty monkey. This thing is pretty sweet. And if you're like me and you like to have something that not everybody is throwing, go to Mills Fleet Farm and pick up some of these colors. These are exclusive from Mills Fleet Farm. And right now, I want to bring it to our technique of the week.
A good population of walleyes are in 2 to 8 feet right now, some up on the flats and some off the break. And it's prime time for a jig and minnow. One jig of choice is a hammerhead jig with a short shank hook in a 16 to 1/8 ounce. Choosing the appropriate weight depends on a number of variables. Of course, depth, current, and wind speed, but also the size of the minnow and the bottom type. As a rule of thumb, the bigger the minnow, the heavier the head. This jig and minnow combo hops across the bottom and the bait sits up, enticing hungry walleyes. The nature of the short shank hook is better served when fishing vertical or slightly vertical, not casting or pitching. If you're casting a jig and minnow, you'll want a long shank hook. Here's a quick tip for hooking minnows on a long shank jig. The double turn. Hook the minnow, go in through the mouth, out the gills, and then turn and run the hook through the center of the minnow. This is dynamite to keep your bait on if you're doing a lot of pitching. Now for the meat. In this neck of the woods, you'll hear from most anglers shiners are the best, especially spot tail or emeralds. If shiners aren't available, rainbows, followed by fatheads, would be the next best choices. With the cost of bait and aquatic invasive species, keeping bait alive for multiple day use is a challenge. Here's something cool we've run across to help prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species and keep your bait longer. It's a bucket system from Excel Outdoors. Keep fresh water on your trailer so when you're done fishing at the end of the day, you can scoop your minnows from the live well and place them in clean water so you're legal and saving money at the bait shop.
Those are some great jigging techniques that we can all put to good use this coming weekend. Well, that about wraps things up for this week. Next week, we're going to bring you a special on planning fishing vacations, along with another hot angling destination.
And be sure to visit your local Fleet Farm store and enter our sweepstakes for a chance to fish with us in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. And remember, to help stop the spread of aquatic invasive species, clean, drain, and dry.
And until then, be sure to check us out on the web at AnglingBuzz.com. You see what our field reporters have to say about the fishing in their area. And as I always like to say, they're going to help you put more and bigger fish in the boat in the weeks ahead.
This week's Buzz Bite Report.
Charlie Moore.
Bray Brostone.
Lee Telkin here.
Brad Durick up here on the Red River.
Muskegon River.
Leech Lake.
Devil's Lake.
Beautiful Lake Vermilion.
Topwater's been really, really fun.
Go to the plastics.
Bass like this.
A lot of wallies like that.
Giant bluegills.
From Sturgeon Bay.
From Lake Sakakawea.
Lake Superior.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Good luck, everybody.
Have fun. We'll see you next week.